What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about a conversation that's been going on. It's been gaining some traction lately about Steph Curry and Steph Curry being like the GOAT of this era. And I think the reason for that is because Steph Curry, Steph Curry really like he's got his team into the playoffs. People are starting to take notice. Some people like myself have already been, had been taking notice of Steph Curry. Anyway, people, a lot more people are taking notice that Steph Curry, his career. I mean, people are saying that he's better than, he's had a better career than LeBron James. And so I recently ran across some audio that compares Steph Curry to LeBron James and how they compare against each other. And there is, in my opinion, there's a strong argument that Steph Curry is better than LeBron James. And so this audio that I'm about to play just illustrates some of the ways, that Steph Curry is better than LeBron James.
Some people think Steph Curry is better than LeBron James all time. First and foremost, they both have 4 rings, but Curry did it in less time and on the same franchise. More importantly, he did it by defeating LeBron 3 times. Curry only lost in the finals twice, where LeBron has lost in 6 finals, 3 of those to Curry. Curry is also the most efficient, high-volume scorer in NBA history. He has a 62.5 true shooting percentage for his career, which is significantly higher than LeBron's, despite taking much harder shots. In 2016, Curry had the highest true shooting percentage ever for a scoring champion at 66.9 nice percent, and he made an absurd 402 threes that season. Curry doesn't just score, he changes the game. Before Curry, teams attempted around 20 threes per game. Now they attempt well over 30 per game. His success forced teams to copy him. His mere presence warps defenses. His offense is his defense. He's been at the top of the league in plus minus for nearly a decade. You could argue that Curry is better than LeBron at making his teammates better. Take, for example, players like Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, whereas players like Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and Kevin Love saw their numbers drop alongside LeBron. When Curry missed the 2020 season, the Warriors went 15-50, bottom of the Western Conference. They suck without him. 2 seasons later, he came back at full health and led them to a championship in 2022. Now, I'm not saying that Curry is better than LeBron. You could easily make a strong counter argument, but this is what the Curry over LeBron argument looks like. Why do some people think
All right. So, I mean, this is a couple good points in there, right, that I want to talk about as far as Steph Curry. Like, everybody know that Steph Curry has the same amount of rings as LeBron James, and he got it in less time, right? So that, in my opinion, I think that matters. Then when you talk about the fact that 3 out of Steph Curry's 4 rings came against the guy LeBron James, who people are considering the GOAT. Like I've never seen anything. Excuse me. I never seen anything like that in history. Whereas though, like where if you consider LeBron James the GOAT, and then you have Steph Curry who has beaten LeBron James 3 times in the championship, that don't make any sense. Like he's lost to Steph Curry 3 out of the 4 times that they faced him, right? And then look at the fact that Steph Curry do make his teammates better. I think Draymond is a better ball player because of Steph Curry, because and I think I do think, and I made another video that Draymond makes Steph's job easier too. But the fact that Steph Curry is able to shoot at a high percentage, those at a high volume, that allows Draymond to be able to play like almost like a point forward type position, right? And then so it's not as much pressure on Draymond, because although Steph Curry shoot a high volume of shots, he make a very good percentage of those shots. Like for instance, if you take another high volume shooter, somebody like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was a high volume shooter, right? And they call high volume shooters more so like scores, because they got to shoot the ball a lot of times. They have to shoot the ball a lot in order to get their points and their numbers and stuff. But in doing that, shooting all those times, like somebody like Allen Iverson and other high volume shooters, what happens is offensively, the people around them are not usually able to get into a rhythm, or at least be able to contribute to the team in a way besides defense at the offensive, and they're not usually able to contribute to a team in a way where as though other people can be effective besides them on the court. So usually, if Allen Iverson shot a whole lot of times, then the people who played around him, unless you're getting rebounds, or you setting Allen Iverson up for scoring, or you getting like garbage buckets, you're not really going to have a lot of success. But that's not true for people who play with Steph Curry. You know, he shoot a high volume, but let me see. Jordan Poole was able to have some success when he played with him. Everybody knows that Klay Thompson, was able to have some success, a lot of success. I can name a lot of people that had success, despite the fact that this guy shoot a high volume of shots. So and like I said, Draymond Green was one of the beneficiaries of having to play with a guy who shoot high volume, but can also make people successful. Draymond Green get a lot of open shots too, because of everybody got a lot of open shots because of Steph Curry. And it's crazy, right? Like right now, the Golden State Warriors are playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they have Buddy Hield. Now, Buddy Hield is another really, really good 3-point shooter. But the difference between Buddy Hield and Steph Curry is Steph Curry hit a high percentage of those very difficult shots. Buddy Hield, he need to have a little bit more space, and he don't shoot at a high clip unless he really get hot. He don't hit a high percentage of those shots like Steph Curry. So his effect on the Golden State Warriors won't be the same as Steph Curry. And I say that to say that, all right, with Steph Curry, he just had a little, he tweaked his hamstring, so he won't be in for game 2 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But they will need, just because you have other 3-point shooters, don't mean that they're going to have the same kind of success that Steph Curry have. So going into game 2, we'll have to see if Buddy Hield and the guy Porzingis, I think it's the kid name is Porzingis, the redhead kid. They shoot they're very good 3-point shooters, but they need to shoot at a high percentage. Like game 1, was it game 1? No, it was game 7 against the last team that they placed, the Houston Rockets. Like Buddy Hield, he shot at a high percentage from 3 points, from the 3-point range. And in order for them not to miss Steph Curry, that's what this, like, their 3-point shots are going to have to be, they're going to have to make a lot of those 3-pointers, in order for them to be successful with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But getting back to Steph Curry and his impact and him being better than LeBron, the fact that he has gone head to head with LeBron and he has had so much more success, against LeBron, I think that makes him, he built his legacy like that. And he did it at the expense of LeBron James without really talking about it, without all that rah and all that, none of that stuff. And people have been, he's kind of, in some ways, Steph Curry has kind of flown under the radar. Everybody has really been boasting about like LeBron James and how much, he's the GOAT and stuff like this. But when you compare the two, LeBron James and Steph Curry, it's obvious that Steph Curry has just had a excellent career. And in my opinion, he's had a better career than LeBron James. And so there is a strong argument, and I think there's a strong movement coming as far as like being able to put Steph Curry into that I wouldn't say GOAT, the greatest of all time, but I say like the greatest of his era. You know, I think Steph Curry, and it should be a big discussion, more of a discussion when it comes to Steph Curry. You know, that just like when people don't compare, let me see, people don't compare Kobe Bryant to what's the guy name? To Tim Hardaway. Both of those guys have five championship rings. You know, it's just that Tim Hardaway, not Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan did not have, you know, with the Spurs, Tim Duncan with the Spurs didn't have all that rah-rah, and he didn't have that flash with him as Kobe did, you know, but he still had five championship rings. So they don't compare the two. A lot of times when you talk about you know, Tim Duncan names get brought up was when you're talking about great players of that era, but they don't really compare him to Kobe Bryant, and which I really think is unfair, and I think they should. Same thing goes for Steph Curry. You know, Steph Curry for a long time, up until recently, didn't really get put in the same conversation with LeBron James, and I think he should. And he shouldn't, and Steph Curry, in my opinion, should not have to win another championship, although he's having more success in this playoffs than LeBron James. LeBron James got knocked out in the first round in 5 games, him and the Lakers. And he's, you know, so I mean, you know, like it's the proof is in the pudding for real when you look at, like I said, what Steph Curry has done over the course of his career. Um, so anybody who want to argue about LeBron James being a GOAT, first let's talk about LeBron James and Steph Curry before we even had that, you know, conversation with Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or anybody else who you want to put Kareem in that GOAT conversation. First, let's compare him to Kobe. To Steph. But yeah, man. I think Steph Curry has built his legacy, a solid legacy, through beating somebody who is considered to be the GOAT. You know, and I don't care what excuses people try to come up with. You know, Steph Curry is that dude. And so that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe as you know, as you check out the content. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, right? Because I do respond to a lot of these comments. I try to respond to most of them. Yeah, man, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Steph Curry and his legacy as far as how he has conducted himself or how he has been a winner during the LeBron James era. And with that being said, I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.